Hello guys, welcome back to this channel. In this very video, I'm going to share with you the main difference between MPCB and MCB. This is the MPCB, that is motor protector circuit breaker, and we have this circuit breaker here as MCB, that is miniature circuit breaker. And we have to find out the main difference between these two types of electrical components. These two circuit breakers come from the brand Electrician. This is also Electrician. Now, on top of this miniature circuit breaker, we have C, that is 63 amps. That's the current rating of this MCB. And over here, we have 1.6 to 2.5 amps. And over here, we have the current adjusting knob. This is 1.6 to 2.5 amps. You can actually use this adjusting knob to switch from one current rating to the other, from 1.6 to 2.5. And with this MCB, there's nothing like current adjusting knob. And on this MPCB, you can see that we have two switches. This is for the on and this is for the off. That is start and stop. And actually push it. Right now, this is number 1, this is 0. I've turned on the MPCB, and if I want to turn it off, I push this one. And also, if I turn it off and I want to use the lockout tag out, what I have to do is to push this feature that we have here. If you have something like a padlock, you can actually lock it. As the lockout tag out principle. If you have a padlock here, you insert it and you lock it. If you have this MPCB connected to a 3-phase motor and you do it this way, that's the lockout tag out. You insert your padlock and you lock it here. Anybody that attends to this MPCB will know that there is someone working on this MPCB. You can actually push it like this and it is going to get in. You can pull it this way, or even if you don't want to use the padlock or the lockout tag out, you can pull this. You cannot turn it on when you pull this feature we have here. So that is how to turn on this MPCB. And with the MCB, we do it this way. That is also how to turn on and off this MCB. This MCB offers two main protections, that is overload protection and short circuit protection. The overload comes in when the current flowing through these terminals is more than the 63 amps we have here. And the short circuit comes in when two lines comes into contact. That is the short circuit. We have line 1, line 2, and line 3. So if line 2 and line 3 comes into contact, this MCB is going to trip. If you have it connected to a load, it's going to trip off. If you turn it on, something like this, and the outgoing, there is a contact between the two phases, this MCB is going to trip off. Now with this MPCB, it offers 3 main protections. That is overload protection, short circuit protection, phase loss, and even current unbalanced protection. As I explained the overload and the short circuit, the overload on the MPCB comes in when the current drawn by the load is more than what you have selected. You have the current adjusting knob. You can actually use it to adjust the current of the load or the motor. Now I have it set to 2 amps. How to compare the current rating of the motor to this MPCB. What you have to do after looking at the current rating of the motor, and then you set it slightly higher than the current rating that you have on the motor. That is what you have to do to the current adjusting knob. So I have it set to 2, that is actually 2 amps. Now when the current that is being drawn by this MPCB is more than the 2 amps and you have it turned on like this, it is actually going to trip off. That is the overload. And also when the motor runs for a long period of time, there's going to be increase in current, and automatically it's rate the 2 amps that I've set, it is going to turn off. That's the overload. And the short circuit comes in when 2 phases comes into contact or 2 lines comes into contact. the motor is actually going to go off automatically. Now we have the phase loss. When you have this MPCB connected to a load or a motor, to be precise, we only connect this MPCB to motors. This is three-phase motor, line 1, line 2, line 3. This is the input and this is the output. When you have this MPCB connected to a motor and there's a phase loss, that is line 1, line 2, line 3, have them connected to the motor, and all of a sudden there's a phase loss on the line and you are having line 1 and line 2 to the motor. The line 3 that you are having a phase loss is going to trigger the tripping mechanism of this MPCB to trip off to protect the motor. That is the phase loss. So whenever the MPCB is working and it detects that there is a phase loss, it's going to go off to protect the motor. Or even if it is a loose contact that is causing the phase loss, it's going to go off to protect the motor. That is how the MPCB works. Unlike this MCB, when you have it turned on and there's a phase loss, it is still going to maintain in this position. It will never trip off. That is how the MPCBs are designed. The MPCB also offers current unbalanced protection. This MPCB has a current rating that ranges from 1.6 to 2.5 amps. And we have our load connected to this MPCB. And let's also assume that our motor is drawing 2 amps of current. Okay. The current unbalanced protection comes in when we have the 2 amps of current flowing through the motor. That is from this side to the motor, from the middle side to the motor, and the last terminal we have here. Instead of this terminal to transfer 2 amps of current to the motor, the current has decreased to 0.5 amps. This MPCB is going to trip off to protect the motor because 2 amps of current is supposed to be transferred from the output side to the motor. And here is the case, one terminal is only able to transfer 0.5 amps of current to the motor. It means there is something wrong, and the moment this MPCB detects that, it is going to go off automatically. That is all about the current unbalanced protection. But with this type of circuit breaker, that is the miniature circuit breaker, whether it is 2 amps of current that is flowing here, it is 1, it is 0.5, it is still going to work. It doesn't offer current unbalanced protection. That is how these MCBs are designed. There is also a way to test MPCB to know whether it is in good condition or not. That is the test we have here. If you want to test this MPCB, either it is new or it is old, if you want to test whether it is in good condition or it is not, the only thing you have to do is to push this start button. You have it written here. This is stop and this is start. You push the start button, you can see that you have test written here. You insert it here and you give it a little slide. It's going to trip off to tell you that this MPCB is in good condition. Let me try it once more. You insert it this way. Others, you are not going to insert it. We have a button at the top here, like this one. Yes, this is also another type of MPCB. Turn it on. Okay. But with this, we have to insert it. This all the same. I turn it on. I insert it. It has stripped, telling me that this MPCB is in good condition. But with the MCB, we don't have anything like a test button or something like that. We also have another feature attached to this MPCB. With this one, we don't have that feature, and let's quickly dive into that. Now with this MPCB, we can actually install auxiliary contact block to this. If you want to be using indication lamps, when we turn it on, the indication lamp is going to be telling us that this MPCB is turned on, and when it goes off, the indication lamp is also going to be telling us that. We have a space for that, and that is this section. Okay, we have this space for auxiliary contact block. That is the MPCB auxiliary contact block. Actually, I don't have one here, but we have this space for that. So if you have it, just insert it for you to be able to use the indication lamps. They're normally closed and normally open. And here is the case, I don't have one to show it to you, so what I will do is to close it back. And with the MPCB, we don't have anything like auxiliary contact block space or something like that. So guys, that is the main difference between MPCB and MCB. If you find this video helpful, consider subscribing to this channel and let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video and see you in my next video.